we was waiting for Camron's response to Jimy. Camron and 50 said Camron would be coming. He said Camron would be here on Monday. I guess Cam was out of town. So you guys know Camron, he puts on a show. All right. And I was expecting a show from Camron. Anytime Camron has an opponent, he goes crazy. Curtis. Camron is super entertaining. But his response was slightly lackluster. I expected way more from Cam. Cam, he appeared to be very reserved in reference to speaking about Jimy, all right? But nonetheless, Cam did, let me tell you, Cam didn't even answer some questions. I thought Cam was going to answer the questions about the pink, the diplomat name that Jimy said he came up with the name. Jimy said he started the pink. Camron spoke about it, but he didn't go into detail. He didn't even say his part. He didn't break down as to what role he played in the color pink or dispel or deny Jimy's claims. All right? So that kind of, I kind of feel like what Jimy was saying, Jim Jones might have some validity to what he was saying because Cam never addressed that directly. He kind of floated over it. Cam was like, yeah, you talking about pink, diplomats, he spoke about it, but he just brushed over it. He never went into detail. All right. So with that being said, I was anticipating Camron coming back and just don't shoot the messenger, releasing on Jimy. You know, we're here for the entertainment, right? And I know that they're friends. You guys keep in mind, it's not that I'm entertaining beef, right? But sometimes I have the foresight to see that it's not going to go nowhere. And if it's not going to end up to be violence, I'm going to sit back and grab my popcorn and be entertained because that's what they're doing. They're intending to entertain us. All right? So with that being said, you guys, Camron came back from out of town. That part. He addressed Jimy. For one, people were saying that Camron was dressed up like R. Kelly. Listen, wait. Listen, please don't shoot the messenger. Please. Please, do not shoot the messenger. Camron was dressed up like R. Kelly. He had the little scully on. He had the jacket with the fur around the collar. You heard me? Very reminiscent of R. Kelly. No pun intended. I'm not comparing Cam to no fucking R. Kelly. All right, it's jokes. I'm being facetious. With that being said, Camron spoke about Jimy, all right? In which Camron, his main angle, Camron is trying to discredit Jimmy's Harlem card. Camron saying that Jimy is not born in Harlem. He's not from Harlem. Y'all know Harlem, New York. You already know how people represent they region, they city, right? In the hood, it's like, oh, where you originally from? Where you born? Me, originally moved to Miami, Dade County, all right? Stayed in Dade County. Then I moved to Broward County, all right? Then I had issues with the police in Broward County, Miramar especially. Shout out to them, there's no disrespect. Things have changed, but they told me to leave Miramar. So I went back to Dade County, that part. But you guys know in the hood, we want to know where you born, where you from. Some people say you from where your mama from. You from where your grandparents from. All right, I moved to Dade County, my grandparents' crib, 184. Excuse me, not 200 Terrace. I'm so used to saying 184. 200 Terrace, 845 Northwest 200 Terrace. I don't live there no longer, but my grandparents stayed there. All right. Nonetheless, they're saying that Jimy is not from Harlem. Camron's trying to say that Jimmy's actually from the Bronx. Now, some people out there, I've seen Zip with the Drip. Shout out to Zip with the Drip. Zip is from New York. And Zip with the Drip said he never knew that Jimy was from the Bronx. So apparently even people in New York are not aware of Jimy being born in or being from the Bronx. Because you know Jimy screaming Harlem. Y'all heard the new song? Harlem. Fire. The song's fire. So that's an angle. And Camron has always been pushing that. He's always been pushing that envelope. All right? As in Jimmy's not from Harlem. Jimmy's from the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx. Shout out to Harlem. I have no horse in this race. Shout out to Jimy. Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Mase. Shout out to everybody. It's just a conversation. L.O.T.S approve meter. Don't shoot a messenger. That part. So now, what else Cam said? Cam also spoke about niggas putting hands on Jimy. Now, you guys, we're going to handle this with kid gloves because everybody go through their situation, right? I ain't had my ass whooped since I was like 18, 17, 16. I haven't lost a fight since I was like 15, 16. I'm going to be quite honest with you. And niggas try to jump me. So I can't relate, but by the grace of God, I thank God that I'm in the position I'm in. And this is no discredit, no disrespect to anybody that goes through shit because you got to wear your war wounds. Whatever you go through in life, don't be scared to show. If you got punched in your shit, if you got your shit split, if you got knocked out, whatever, dog, wear your war wounds. All right? That's your legacy. That just gives more validity to your stories because you can't say you won every confrontation. Let's be realistic. Don't run around here showing these young niggas acting like you was on top. You got the better end of the deal every fucking confrontation you went through. No, you got to tell a nigga when you lost. Let niggas know when you got jumped. Let niggas know when you was seeing stars. That's being realistic, all right? So I'm only saying that in reference to Jimy, all right? So Cam, the reason y'all can see why I'm saying this. Cam was talking about all Jim Jones's confrontations. He spoke about Mendici. We all know Mendici had an issue with Jimy, right? He spoke about Mendici. He also spoke about, who else he spoke about? Oh, True Life. Not even True Life. He spoke about French Montana. Excuse me. I'm not sure if he said True Life, but True Life was somebody that Jimy. I think he did spoke about True Life because he spoke about C Gutter. He spoke about C Gutter, Junior Mafia, swinging on the Rucker. I don't know the Rucker Park. I'm confusing shit, but I know shit, right? Because I know the Rucker Park event. I don't know. I think that was C Gutter. I think that was Junior Mafia that shit went through, in which he said that Cam left him, in which Cam denies. He said Cam skirted off and left him. But Camron spoke about Jimmy's Rucker fight. Camron spoke about French Montana. All right? Mendici. And he's trying to paint a narrative here. Cameron's trying to say that every nigga that Jimy beef with, he becomes friends with. Now, when he first said that, it didn't strike me as a bad thing. You want to make amends. Let's be realistic here. Some people think you could beef for the rest of your life. It don't go like that. You got tribes in Africa where people got unalived, all right? There's casualties on both sides of the war, but you still have to come to an agreement. You have to make amends at one point if you want to see a future for the kids, because the younger generation is going to adopt the same war. So your child is going to be going to war for some shit that you maybe have started, something that you was involved with. The kids inherit the war. So there has to be a peace treaty eventually. And a lot of niggas in the hood don't understand that. I understand your man's got unalived. I get it. I understand your brother got unalived. I get it. Now, I'm not saying you got to be best friends with people, but at one point, you got to squash the beef. All right? At least let bygones be bygones. With that being said, Cam was saying that Jimy makes friends with everybody he had beef with. He even spoke about Mendici. All right, Yandy's husband. Shout to Mendici, man. Shout to everybody. We handle this with kid gloves. Street nigga, I know what I'm doing. Listen, he even said shots fired. When he spoke about that, he slipped that out. We're not going to go into detail about that. But I've been hearing about Jimy and his confrontations. Like I told you guys, I partied with Jimy before. All right? Club Dream. My man's knew Jimy. Jimy was in the Office strip club with us. All right? He don't strike me as a nigga that's pussy. So I don't know. There's a narrative being painted about Jimy. Right? Let's talk about some other shit. Cam also said that Jimy need to help. Well, Jimy didn't help nobody. Y'all know Jim Jones, he's known for having a roster of artists. But never at one point did any of Jim Jones' artists take off. No disrespect. But the artists kind of share Camron's opinion. Miss Jaja. Y'all remember Jaja? I think she might be. I don't know if she's Zoe, but I know she's from our city. Shout out to Jaja. Jaja even responded, and she's definitely on Cam's side. Jaja even went as far as to wear pink. Camron said that all Jaja wanted to do was rap. So Jaja falls in. Jaja agrees with Cam, all right? And she showed her alliance with Cam by posting a video today. Also, you have Mel Matrix. Mel Matrix, 9 Trey, Blood. You already know what that 6ix9ine. That's how we got familiar with him. The 6ix9ine fiasco, the indictment, all that shit. That's how we got familiar with Mel Matrix, all right? With that being said, he questions Jimy's loyalty, questions Jimy's, not his loyalty, but Jimy's intentions for Mel Matrix. He even went as far as saying, damn, get that nigga, what, a six-figure salary? He's saying put the man on. All right? He didn't just speak about it. He spoke about Charlie Rambo. If y'all don't know if y'all know who Charlie Rambo is, all right? That's Max B. Shout out to Max B. Y'all know Max B and Jimy and Jim Jones had their issues. All these artists were signed to Jim Jones. I'm breaking down the artists that was signed to Jim Jones. They're painting a picture there, right? There's a pattern there going with Jim Jones and his artists. Similar to like Diddy, but not the same case. Not the same case. I'm just talking about the handling of the artists. All right, so Jaja chimed in. Shout out to Jaja. He spoke about Mendici. He ain't chiming. He spoke about all the people that Jimy beef with, but we got beyond that. Right now, we're talking about, I got kind of jaded, all right? Right now, we're speaking about Jimy with his artists. You spoke about Jaja. There's a guy that goes by the name of Stax Bundle. Stax Bundle, clue tape. Stax Bundle was a highly sought after, highly recruited, highly scouted artist in New York. All right. A lot of people were fond of, rest in peace, Stax Bundle. A lot of people were fond of this man. Stax Bundle died. He got unalived prematurely. Rest in peace and condolences to Stax Bundle's family on behalf of L.O.T.S approved media. All right. A lot of people questions Jimy's intent with Stax Bundles. And also, you know, Max B also self-proclaimed that he questions Jimy's intent with him. A lot of people, Camron and Max B, they're painting the picture as if Jimy is using the artist. Because you know Max B used to write some of the hooks. So they're saying that Jimy uses his artists for inspiration and has no intentions of making them successful artists. That is the consensus. All right. When I look at the timeline of things of artists that were under Jim Jones, I don't recall anybody actually being successful. And I may be wrong. You guys, listen, I'm not the end all be all. If I say something wrong, listen, correct me in the comment section. All right? Do me that favor. But right now, you guys, we're breaking down Jim Jones' current beef with Cam and Mase. Now, first of all, I want to clap it up for Mase, because Mase was in the background while Cam was talking, and Mase, like, he had the popcorn. Mase was in character. Hold up. Listen, Mase was in character. I don't recall Mase talking. I didn't see the whole episode, right? Maybe Mase did speak. I didn't see it. You guys keep in mind, I don't research extensively everything, right? I don't have a research team, but I get more with that. Nonetheless, Mase was sitting there with a bucket of popcorn, I believe. He was eating something. He was eating. And he's making so much grimace with his face. Big shout out to Mase, man. Mase, I like the attitude that Mase has right now. Mase ain't sparing nobody. Shout out to Murder Mase. But with that being said, all right, Camron, he also spoke about the timeline of things, all right? Basically trying to highlight that Jimy is not from the Bronx. So Camron went through a timeline of videos that were posted online throughout time. You see Camron with his cousin that passed away, rest in peace, bloodshed. So Camron had bloodshed in the rhyming. Cam was in a group called Children of the Corn, right? So according to Cam was on fire in Harlem. He said, listen, Cam said he was on fire. He said Mase was on fire, etc. I guess that whole Children of the Corn. He's just basically saying his whole team was on fire at the time. And everybody knew that they were on fire. So what he's saying basically is that Jimy was kind of like, it's like he's referring to Jimy as if he was a groupie. He didn't use that term, but it kind of like that's what the picture he was trying to paint. All right. According to Cam, Jimy knew about them niggas. He knew about them and how and the buzz behind them. And Jim Jones, this is according to Camron. He said Jim Jones, I don't know if Jim Jones' grandmother had passed away, rest in peace, but there was an apartment that was left in which Jimy stayed at. Now, Cam said that Jimy invited him to the apartment to hang out. They could use his spot as a facility to facilitate what they got going on. So he lent the apartment to Jimy. And Jimy lent the apartment to Cam and Mase. So Cam is basically paying Jimy as a kind guy. He's like, man, that was a great gesture, man. Cam didn't shit on Jimy to a certain degree. There's a lot that was said in this interview, y'all. There's a lot that was said. And I'm trying to remember everything, all right? But nonetheless, he's saying that Jimy allowed them to go inside the apartment and fuck bitches in the apartment. They knocking down broads in the apartment. That's what was taking place. All right. What else? How we gonna end this off? Let me just say this. Let me say this to Camron. For one thing, you guys, I noticed that Camron didn't have a real problem with Jimy. I noticed that Camron had zero aggression when he was talking to Jimy. I get the impression that Camron really has love for Jimy, obviously. I don't know if it's the same with Jimy, but I think some things are safe to assume because their friendship and the timeline of things, all the events and stuff that they experienced together, that's kind of hard to throw that away, right? Memories. But nonetheless, you guys, Cam didn't want to shit on Jimy. He wasn't aggressive at all. He basically just kind of tried. He took Jimmy's Harlem card, basically saying you're not from Harlem. Now I know Jimy got a bunch of Harlem niggas that's standing behind him. So I'm pretty sure there's probably a video that's gonna pop up in the next couple of days of Jimy on a block in Harlem with 100 niggas behind him. That part. I'm pretty sure you guys could bet that. Nonetheless, Cam was not mad at Jimy. Cam wasn't mad at Jimy at all. Cam said, I'm gonna end off with this. Cam said, Jimy, you squash beef with niggas that you really got issues with that you probably don't even know these niggas like that. There's no relationship there. And I'm paraphrasing. But he's basically saying that Jimy is more willing to beef with people that got some type of love for him. So I guess the people that got love for him, he's willing to go to war with, but the people that he actually has problems with, he's able to make amends with. Now, we could break this down. It's the same thing that we say in the hood. You beefing with these niggas, you need to beef with the niggas that you really got problems with. That's basically in a nutshell what Camron's saying. You beefing with these niggas, but you really need to be, you beefing with us, but you really need to be beefing with the niggas that you really have problems with. This is what the picture that Camron's trying to paint. This is what he's alluding to, all right? And like I said, I'm just here as a journalist. I'm not taking no sides. I have no horse in this race, all right? I have no horse in this race. And to end this conversation, I want to make sure, I think the Dipset, as we know it, it may be ruined, as in the camaraderie of Dipset. The camaraderie of Dipset may be over. All right? That's for the big diehard Dipset fans. But I'm gonna give you guys a glimpse of hope. We know that Camron is money driven. We know that Jimy love money. We know that Jewels need the money, and I'm not saying he's broke, but who don't want more money? What I'm trying to say is money is the common interest that they all share. And I think money is the only thing that could bring them back together. It has to be money. It has to be a big opportunity in the future that could bring Cam and Jimy back together. All right. And I think there's a high probability that that's going to happen because you guys know Dipset is a legendary group and people are always going to want to pay Dipset to perform. There's always going to be events to commemorate Dipset and to celebrate the Dipset legacy, in which there'll be opportunities that'll present themselves for Cam and Jimy to unite once again under $1. All right, power of $1. That part. L.O.T.S Proof Media, Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast. You guys, this is episode number 106. All right. You guys do me a favor. As soon as you come to the building, you guys need to be hitting that like button. I'm going to keep reiterating this. Hit the like button so YouTube will take this content and then push it forward to their audience. All right. That's what we need to accomplish for 225. That part. New year, new money, new opportunities. Let's talk about it. Let me address this comment section right quick.